Hello and welcome to another Stephen Allen Almost Daily. We're back. Hello. Almost late because I logged in ready for today's broadcast and all of the scene that it had moved. So thanks, Microsoft. I don't know why I'm blaming Microsoft. They had some IT problems that affected some banking apps, some serious things. So I imagine I'm basically hosted on the same things as Visa cards. The importance of the internet, I think there's a hierarchy structure, and I must be right in the top. So anyway, welcome along. Joodle says, and there's the notification from, get the comments up. There's the notification from my YouTube. Timely afternoon, people. She's here. Charlotte was the first one here. Wait, am I the first here? Wow, that's a first. You were. I was running late trying to recreate this scene. I think technically the moving spectrometer thing down the bottom's in a different place. I couldn't remember where it went. It doesn't really matter. I think it looks right there. You're up and running. If you're listening to this on the audio-only version, sorry, wasting some time for you. But anyway, should we crack on with what we have to deal with today? If you're watching the live stream, you can get involved in the comment section. That would be nice. In case you don't know really what we're doing here, I'm Stephen Allen, and almost daily, twice a week, I go through some news on a live stream. There's also the audio version that catches up some of the days. And details of why I'm not doing one tomorrow. Spoiler alert, I'm giving blood, and I'm going to be an absolute nightmare about it. That's right. So, we're full of beans. We're ready to do this one. Let's start with the front pages. Oh, we've got a jingle for the front pages these days, haven't we? Thanks to Proper Memes, who's here, saying back once again with the ill behaviour and the production value like this.
Headlines.
That right there is why voiceover artists like me aren't getting as much work as we used to. Having said that, that's another reason I was slightly late. I was had to record two scripts, which I forgot about. So let's do this, people. Front page of the I newspaper, Starmer signals rise in basic rate of income tax to avoid austerity. Yes. Less in favour of that than taxing... You know when they say tax the rich people and the wealthy? It seems better than taxing me? Probably, because I don't want to be taxed, but the rich people I'm absolutely okay with that happening. Although this is a bit of a quandary, isn't it? That if you say you're going to tax the wealthy, how do you define wealthy? You can't just mean people doing all right, because you've got to have the goal of doing all right. You can't be punished for doing all right. But if you're like mega wealthy, maybe tax them. How do you define someone as wealthy? I think I've worked on a definition. If you're rich enough to be able to move your assets around to avoid tax, then you're wealthy. And therein lies the problem. You're up to date. A Jason Statham side cam too, says Charlotte in the comments. Is this? What? It's slightly at the wrong angle. Is it? I've tried to make it slightly higher def, which means the camera's at an angle. There you go. Again, if you're listening to the audio one, do apologise. The front page of... What else we got here? Reeves, says the Daily Mail, illegally rented out her own family home. We talked about this on GB News last night. You can go back and watch the 11 o'clock show. She had a house which she rented out, and because of where it is, there is this selective license that you require before you can rent out. And driving in to do that show, I'd prepared my hot take on it, and my hot take was this. It's an easy mistake that anyone can make, and if you find out that someone doesn't have a selective license before they rent out a property, maybe you don't go in too harshly on them. It's not the end of the world, is it? Come on. But before we went on TV, I Googled and found out that where I rent out doesn't require a selective license. So actually, do you know what? Do her for it. It's who doesn't know about selective licenses where they rent out? What an absolute ridiculous thing. For a minute there, I was worried. I mean, I bet there'll be absolutely loads of people today who rent out properties seeing this story going, and then Googling to see if they are meant to do one. And if these landlords find out that they do need a selective license, they'll get one because they're panic. And that it's 900 quid or something to do it, which will be money back in the coffers. Rachel Reeves may have finally managed to do something that raises tax, that helps out this nation's economy. So there you go. There you go. I'll get some comments before we move on. I saw one that's a compliment, so I need to make sure we get these there. Jason Statham sidecam. Joodle says, I'm not even sure what we've done to deserve it. What, the sidecam? And also, are we noticing? Oh, well, that's not quite. Is that all right? The side cam doesn't have the thing around the side anymore. Look, the animated box. I slapped it together before we went on. Also, the side cam, I should point out, it's slightly higher def and cleaned with cleaning products now as well. So it looks a lot better. Proper Meme says the camera is always higher than Jason Statham. The wrong one. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons here. It's the same place, but I've realised it was on the wrong angle. It was basically portrait rather than landscape, because of the way it attaches that pole. So I just cropped it down, and it was low res. People can give me some stick about it looking like a Nokia phone. Well, now it looks slightly like a better Nokia phone. Joodle says, very good PM. Oh, here we are. Charlotte saying, if Steve does the accent, it's like Jason Statham's In the Room. I'm not a salmon. That's the advert. I'm going to have to find you that advert. And Proper Mean says, Steve is about a foot taller than Jason Statham. You are right. I don't know how tall he is, but I'm not going to disagree with you. I've got no evidence to back up that, but it seems like a compliment to me. So you are right. So Charlotte says, indeed. They both have the same charm, though. He's just a short man. What can you say about Jason Statham? Famous for being short? Let's go with it. Famous for not being a salmon, if you remember the Kit Kat advert that he did the voiceover on. Proper Meme says an upgrade from a 1950s TV to a 1960s TV. That's right. It's getting better, isn't it? Front page of... what else have we got left to do? Sex attacker migrant was given 500 quid to leave Britain, says The Express. Yeah, we covered this story last night as well. This whole thing is an absolute mess, isn't it? That he had asked to be deported. The way I remembered this story going, hopefully I'm not going to give you the full backstory. It'll take too long and seem like a Molière farce. He was arrested after doing this sex attack, and there were, all the Epping protests, and then finally found guilty, sent to prison. Wasn't it sent to prison for like a year or something? And he was meant to be deported at the end of his sentence. But then he was let out too early, and now they've deported him, and no one seems to be asking, what about the rest of this sentence? Does he just get off that then? Because the argument for not deporting straight away is if you want to guarantee that punishment happens, you have to do it over here and pay for it over here. But it turns out we've got 500 quids dropping out left, right and centre. That 500 quid that was spent on this migrant has already been replaced when Rachel Reeves pays that 900 quid to buy that licence. So already, the money's fine. That's not the issue here. The issue here is deeper. And so he seems to get off the sentence. And he wanted to be deported, but then said, I might kick off. If you start giving people £500 to stop them getting Larry on a flight, your average Ryanair is going to be too expensive to take off. So I said, just watch this. Be careful, is what I say. Proper Meme says, attacker visited a library because he wanted to get booked. Nice. Loving your work. Keep them coming through. Front page of the Times is the last one we'll look at today. Prostate test from age 50 would save thousands. Good. We've talked about this on this show relatively recently. In my stand-up, I still have a story about when I went to the doctors in my early 40s and had to... I can't remember what I was being seen for, but it was something non-related, like a cough or something. And at the end of it, the guy said, should we check your prostate? Which was the old-fashioned way of doing it. And it affected that cough. But now that stand-up's out of date because the test that they're talking about is just the blood test, the antigen test. And they can test to see if you've got these antigens. If so, then further test. It's great. They should, if it's just a blood test, they should be doing it to any bloke over 50. But it does mean that if you still want to have the old-fashioned way of doing the test, you can go private. Not to a doctor. Anyway, you're up to date. Proper Meme says Moon River, Fletch reference, and in 1950s mime vibes. Yeah, do you know what? I think we've gone film noir. Film noir side cam. What more do people want? This is the one with all the high tech, and yet people watch the other streams way more. Not that I'm gutted. All right, here we go. Chris Hood joins in on the comments as well. The full team's almost here. Anyone else, if you are watching, please just drop a comment. It'd be nice to get them in there. Should we do the actual news? Let's do this thing.
Let's get inside the news.
I've overshot. I've gone too far away from where the Here we are. All right, let's start with some of the main news then. We'll get around to the fun ones. Reeves to decimate industry. This is about betting. So one of the stories about where the tax might be going is looking at betting shops or taxing betting. I don't know the full details because if I'm brutally honest, I don't care. I don't gamble. And if you stop people gambling, great. It means it won't raise as much money. Or if they do, it's not like it's taxing work, hard work. If you put in like a tough shift, I don't know what your job is, but if it's hard work, like being a cleaner or working down a mine or being a contributor on TV and radio, real hard graft. Do you know what I mean? If you're one of those people who should be respected as an essential worker, the miners, the cleaners, the TV pundits that should be respected. If you're one of those, you get taxed at the end of the day. That's an absolute pain, isn't it? Oh, what? Had you deserve my blood, sweat and tears? Not that I always cry when I'm on telly. But this, if you've won a bet, I don't know, tax it. I don't give two flips. But the idea that it said, like, Britain's high streets will be ruined if a new betting tax raid goes ahead. Is that the thing you like about the high streets? Have you ever had this conversation? What do you do on the weekend? Oh, we went to a lovely village. The high street was beautiful. It's betting shops and the odd charity shop. And there was a delightful artisanal vape emporium. It really was beautiful village life. There were local flavors, locally sourced honey flavored vapes. Delightful. Chef's kiss. No, because no one cares about the betting shops. In the comment section, Joodle's enjoying it. That's good news. And Proper Moon says, where do they draw the blood? Yeah. Do you reckon you could ask for the... Like, I'm old-fashioned. I'm a traditionalist. I'm willing to have this blood test for the prostate, but would you mind awfully? Chris says, I've never worked hard. Well, then maybe you should be taxed. Proper Mean says, James O'Brien said his job is harder than labourers. Well, I've never done his job. I imagine he gets more flack online for it. But is it harder? Artisanal Vape Emporium. That's when we all decide to make money during this stream. Clearly, the Ko-fi thing's not working and the Substack's not bringing in the cash. I thought we might need to open up a shop together, and an artisanal vape emporium might be the thing. I'll be after your Ko-fi donations to kickstart that one later on. What else we got? It's a bit early in the show to be going blue, but let's do this one. Bit of blue. There you go. There's that woman. And this is Kourtney Kardashian's gone below the belt with her latest health product. A lollipop designed to support vaginal health. Which they don't end the sentence there, because imagine if that's the only bit you read and you're like, all right, well, I'll give it a go. I'll take the wrapper off first. I don't think that's what it is. The reality TV star, 46, previously accused of copying Gwyneth Paltrow's wellness brand Goop, is selling these Lemipur probiotic lollipops infused with vitamins and probiotics. Where does the rest of that become about the health? You know, am I missing something here? I mean, hopefully she's not copied Gwyneth, because Gwyneth made a candle that smelled like her. And if you're thinking, I'm going to copy that idea, but I'm going to do a lollipop. No one wants a beef lollipop. And I think we'll leave that there. Let's have a look. Proper Meme says, organic energy drinks. We should, shouldn't we? We should be selling energy drinks. Okay, if you are an energy drink supplier, get in touch. Joodle says, I have no words. Well, depends where you put the lollipop, doesn't it? This one I like. So this is the story of, I'll give you the headline, Warder's Notes to Inmate on Jail Romp. We got a lot of these stories at the moment. This is someone who works in a prison who's been accused of having rumpy-pumpy with an inmate. This is this lady who, the prison officer, accused of romping with an inmate in a prayer room, said she would take a bullet for him in the court case. I just want to give credit here. What a genius move. Romping in the prayer room. That, because in my head, I imagined it was somehow in the cell, or because I've watched Shawshank in like the cleaning place. But the prayer room's the best place for it, isn't it? Because that way, if someone walks past, you can just hear someone shouting, oh God, oh God, oh God. You'd think they're good at praying. Whoever's in there, they deserve to get that room to themselves for a while. I'm not even going to go in there. They are absolutely, they're peak praying right now. Or, do you know, I just leave that there. The next thought was worse. No, because there's monks used to flagellate themselves, didn't they? Yeah. I think we covered that story. The seagulls, says Chris. What did I miss? Was I making a seagull noise? Who wants a fishy smelling candle? Seagulls. Makes sense. Do they want the lollipop? They don't really have the fingers, do they? PG-13. Yeah. Well, I got away with the acting, didn't I? Back to the inside the news. India are in the news. They failed in a new trial to reduce smog by creating artificial rain. You can seed clouds. I love this because I get to use the phrase site of nucleation, and that's how rain happens and boiling happens. You need particulate matter to make things like rain happen. So you chuck some of that up into a cloud and it rains. And they've got such bad air quality. The plan was, let's get some rain to drop and... Oh, it didn't get rid of the thing, did it? Oh, sorry. That looks terrible. These were meant to be set up that they all get rid of the... I'm going to have to reset this. Hope that's not been left on screen too long. The chat overlay, yeah. No, it's meant to be automatically taken off when I load in a camera. Oh, don't do any of it now. Some flipping Microsoft, Bill Gates. Anyway, India failed in its bid to reduce the smog by getting it to rain. They made fake rain. The plan was the rain would fall and wash the sky, I guess. And, spoiler alert, it didn't help. That story again, India have found a way to have the same bad air, but also rain. And in science, I like to think there are no failures. It's simply, you just have to reinterpret the results. India's discovered the technology to make themselves into Birmingham. And their scientists spent too long thinking if they could, not enough time thinking if they should. Get rid of that one. Not going to need that one again. We need the chat on the left and the news desk on the right. Yeah. But then my head would have to be so precisely smack bang in the middle of the screen that I wouldn't get to do all my flailing around business. I don't know. Steve in the middle, yeah. Emsicles is here. Sounds like Middlesbrough. Harsh. But fair. I once got in trouble for doing a joke when I did a radio show. Do you remember Rihanna's song, I Found Love in a Hopeless Place? And I back announced it saying I didn't know she'd been to Coventry. They didn't like that. They did not like that. They did not like that. They don't like much, do they? This fish and chips story. Apparently, we're running out of fish and chips. The UK is facing a fish and chips supper crisis. Shop owners, well, like one shop owner, this guy called Ryan said, he's moaning, but he might have a point. We went to the fish and chip shop recently, and for basically 3 meals, it was something ridiculous, like 29 quid. You're fish and chips, mate. What are you doing? What are you doing? And it's because the fish is really expensive, and also they charge a lot for the chips because they give you so many. I'll just have a small chips, please. All right, you've got to back the vehicle up and we'll load up your boot with it. Too many. But the point is, cod stocks are low, therefore supply and demand, and it means getting a battered cod is too expensive. And he says, this fish and chip guy, he said, we've introduced value alternatives like Hokey and Safe. These are not fishes that I was aware of, but Hokey and Safe sound like an insult someone from the southern states of America would use, a dismissive insult. Why, good sir, I find you to be talking nothing but Hokey and Safe. I do declare. We are in this courtroom to ascertain the verisimilitude of my client, and the claims against him are not but hokey and safe. I've got a good point. But when you think about it, cod was also an insult. Like cod accent. Cod, I don't know what it means, but it's an insult, isn't it? Yeah, it's a cod thing. Most fish names are quite the insult. Why, you are a red snapper, sir. Pollux. There you go. Hit those thumbs and subscribe, says Martin. Why, I do declare. You are nothing after... Oh, Martin's here. Hello, good to see you. Proper memes, what have I missed here? 1952 RAF seeded clouds and caused Lynmouth flooding, killing lots of people. Well, that'll learn them? Is that their plan? Why don't we use that as a technology? instead, because you wouldn't get in trouble for bombing people then, would you? You just go over there, cause some bad weather. Just saying. And, yeah. Gluten-free banter. Well, I do declare. Wrong one. Every little help acts at Tesco. Yeah, have you noticed this? Our local Tesco one does this. We've lost a bit of the shop for an every parcel delivery thing, which also means when you're wanting to get served, the person's having to deal with someone picking up their parcel. Oh no, get it delivered to your own house, you absolute waste of space. But it's ending anyway. By the end of November, you'll no longer be doing the every stuff in Tesco. I hadn't thought of that. Every little helps. That was did they write that on the signs? That was a good pun. They should have done that. But according to Sky News, the supermarket giant is phasing out its partnerships with every parcel shop. You don't need this anymore because what we've got where we live in the car park, is it called Lock something? Lockshore? I don't know. But it's like a big unit, and it's often my username on certain dating things. No, they've got a big unit, and you scan a barcode, and one of the flaps opens. Have you done one of these? They're amazing because it's like being in the Crystal Maze. Because you got beep, and you have to wait to see which door's going to open, and you dart over there and get your parcel out. And it's also great because you can have stuff delivered there rather than at home, which means if you want something delivered that your spouse, you don't want them to find out about, not that I'm saying I've done that. Also, the lockers aren't big enough for one of those international silicon-based dolls. Anyway, I don't know why you asked. Who even said that in the comments? No one said that in the comments. All right, darn it. It's the problem with an overlay. But yeah, getting rid of that. No more of those anymore. Have you seen this? Christmas. Oh, we didn't even talk about the comments. Sorry. Afternoon, Steve. Gloom for his hit. Okay, nothing happened since last time we talked. That's why. That's why I didn't. Chris Hood now says flaps. You know what I'm talking about, eh? With the flaps open. Bit of blue for dads. Turkey is chopped, is the headline. Younger adults are ditching traditional Christmas roast with almost a fifth saying they will mix things up this year. Don't care? Thank you. But I think you're meant to, aren't you? So I can pretend to get angry about this one if you want. I think this is terrible. It's tradition. It's not really that true, but it's kind of tradition. It's the true meaning of Christmas. And I'll tell you one of the things that's wrong with this country is we're forgetting the true meaning of Christmas, which is when you spend all day cooking a massive turkey, just like Jesus would have done if he wasn't busy being born. Did he die for nothing? Although this is not about the death. Was he born for nothing? I believe it stems originally because there was a turkey in the manger, just sitting there, and they were, oi, out of it. And that's why we eat turkey now for Christmas. I think the true meaning of Christmas has become not necessarily about its religious base, but more about the traditions of cooking a turkey, having one of our least favourite meats that never that great, is it? Takes so long, it's difficult to cook. It then puts pressure on the other things so that whoever's cooking can have a breakdown and give it some, I don't get any help around here. That you have a massive row. And I think why that helps is it makes you grateful to get back to work. And without turkey kicking off all of those absolute victim-baited Messiah issues, no, martyrdom issues. The Messiah was the other one, wasn't it? So he is still involved. Then it's not Christmas. Yeah. Let's have a look what we've got going on over here. We've already had beef lollipops and flaps. Was the natural progression? I guess it was. Is she selling? That would make more sense. It would go with that lollipop, wouldn't it? Only flaps says proper memes. Yep. Oh yeah, proper meme says it's. I don't even know how you say it. Turkey, but Starmer tweeted out turkey in Turkish. Why do they do that? Because you don't do it for other places. Why have we started doing it for Turkey? Because you still say Germany. You don't do Deutschland. You don't do that, do you? You don't even do like, oh yes, we're just going to go over there. There's never been a speech where Starmer says we now have an agreement, a returns deal with France. So why are you doing it with the turkey thing? I don't think you should do it with any international place because it is so selective, isn't it? That you only use that country's word for its place. You don't do the accent when you're talking about Glasgow. No one's going like, oh yeah, we're going on a lovely little driving trip to Glasgow. Because I don't understand people. It's proper British culture watching mum do all the work on Christmas Day, says Martin. Exactly. Does Christmas mean nothing anymore? Giblets, says Chris Hood. Goes on tight. or as they say in Germany, bless you. And what else have I missed? The OGs will remember Chocolate Pocket 2. I shouldn't have been allowed to stream on the internet, should I? I've done some stuff. Keep the comments coming through. Right, no, that's definitely not it. Here we are. You're not allowed to laugh at this, otherwise we will get in trouble. Which means maybe I shouldn't be picking this for today's show, but we are where we are, aren't we? A one-legged thief, which already sounds like the setup to a joke, and it's not. Calm down. A one-legged thief in a wheelchair, it just got worse, didn't it? Tried to burgle houses and steal from cars, a court heard. Let's not name this person in case... I mean, the court case is finished. There's no contempt of court issue or anything, but apparently rattled a home's front door but failed to get in. And then wheeled over to the neighbours. Don't no, you can't, because it's offensive. And I tell you the real story here that this newspaper's not dealt with is that this is court case 1. Surely court case 2 is when he sues because of the lack of wheelchair accessibility in these two houses. How dare you, sir? How dare you have a house that this person cannot break into? What year do you think this is? The 1970s? But if you think we are being wrong about this, the judge... He admitted to attempted burglary, interfering with cars and stealing, and got 17 months in jail. The judge, Tom Mitchell, said he was the least likely person to make a speedy getaway. Oh, that judge is never going to work again. You can't do... Naughty. Don't. Speaking of which, let's see who's getting themselves in trouble in the thing. Chris Hood says, hop it. Oh, don't. Martin says, mono podcast. Oh. No. Just keep a straight face. Middlesbrough again, says Emsicles. Yes, you're right. It would have been helped if it was raining. Because it was all about to kick off and he had to leg it, says proper memes. I knew I shouldn't have brought that story up. I don't feel bad. Did they shout shoe? Just the one, says Martin. Well, I think we've covered all the bases there. Lordy. All right. So you make of this. Football, my specialist subject. And football team fine. Oh, that's good then. Football team fine for sexist ref chants. Oh, for a minute there I thought it was bad news, but they looked into it. Fine. Maybe I've read that wrong. A football team has been fined for a sexist chant after fans sang at the top at a top female ref, "You're going back to the kitchen." Supporters of Hemel Hempstead Town. So they've already suffered enough, live in Hemel Hempstead, but they got in trouble for it. Now, it's not necessarily that it was... They're not in trouble for a sexist rant. They got in trouble for an offensive one, didn't they? Because the National League South club were charged with failing to ensure their spectators do not use offensive language. But you can still have the debate now, is that... I'm sure it is offensive, but is it that offensive? Let's draw a line of offence. And down at the bottom is not that offensive. Down at the other end is all the jokes you've just done about a guy with one leg. That's the level of offence. Whereabouts would that "you're going back to the kitchen" land in comparison to all of the things male refs have had shouted at them over the decades? Jokes about how good their vision is. Jokes about their mono self-pleasuring skills that mean they don't have good eyesight. Jokes about how many parents they have. And in comparison, would you rather have someone shouts, "Oi, you..." or "You're going back to the kitchen"? And the reason I think it's not that offensive to say "you're going back to the kitchen," I'm sure it is offensive, but she will go to the kitchen. Not in the way they mean when they were singing it. They probably meant like you should just be working. But a wry smile might come over her face where she's like, "No, they're right. I am going in the kitchen now. I'm just going to get a coffee from the coffee machine. I've got an espresso. It's in the kitchen. I'm going in." So I'm not saying they're right. Let's have a look. Not for the last guy, says Mart. Are we still doing the... I feel bad. Charlotte says some kind of emporium, but not for vapes. Well, yeah, we could... Anything that makes me some money on here. We've only got 2 stories left. This is about the correct amount. Oh, we've already done half an hour, so I'm still going too long, but we're getting there, aren't we? This one. Let's see if we can... Oh, I didn't quite fit. A wooer upper. There's a picture of the couple we're talking about, and haunting history of witch jail. A couple who bought Britain's most, quote marks, most haunted house, so not quote mark, not actually, like in the same way, beef trademark, you know what I mean? say that doing it up has sparked a flurry of spooky activity. And so I'll put it there so we can read some of the story. Something, something, something spirit level. That's the pun joke. But what we're actually looking at here, more importantly, is I don't particularly believe in ghosts, but look, they bought a house and they've done it up and they said there are loads of ghosts. So maybe they should be trusted. And this couple who are paranormal investigators, So a couple who make their living from Amy's YouTube channel, Amy's Crypt, not what I expected when I subscribed. I expected to find some lollipops, if I'm brutally honest, but no. And it's in Essex, and they have seen ghosts. What are the odds? You never really see paranormal investigators finding nothing, which should happen more often, shouldn't it? Was there ever an episode of Most Haunted? Never watched it. But I'm presuming there's not an episode where they're like, nah, nothing around it. Nah. Probably not even ghosts. So, isn't that weird? It can't be haunted because, there are no ghosts. Is that what it is? Which Jail is my favourite magazine for haunted prison holidays, says Proper Memes, a callback to his own joke from last episode or the one before. What's happened to us? Love the running gag. Can you get taken off YouTube for jokes about how many legs you got? Charlotte says Most Haunted was so cringy. I never watched it, but I'm presuming there was never an episode where they were like, yeah, nothing to see here. No ghosts. Let's all go home and just crack on with our lives. Did they not do that? And what else have we got? A wizard idea. It says Chris Hood. I'm expecting Emsicles. We need more stories from Middlesbrough. It's the only time it seems to perk up. Joodles is enjoying it, howling, or maybe this is a Halloween thing. I don't know what kind of howling you're doing. We can find out. Right, final story. We'll go big on this one as well. Monjaro. Jab lasts for 3 years. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. I say Monjaro like that because it seems like the name of a character from Mortal Kombat. Yeah? If you were who are you playing? I'm playing Sub-Zero. I'm going to be Monjaro wins. Monjaro sounds like the second to last boss. The one that's got too many arms. Monjaro. Get over here. I spent a lot of time playing Mortal Kombat when I was younger. Leave me alone. Monjaro jab lasts for 3 years. Most weight loss and keeps it off. Well, this is good. They've now done like a list of which are the best drugs. And Monjaro, people who use that see they lose more weight and they keep it off for longer. They've compared it to, well, hang on, let's get sciencey on it. So Monjaro is tirzepatide. That's the most effective for shedding the largest amounts of weight and keeping it off longer. We then get into quite fit. Come on. Then there's Wegovy, which has semaglutide, and then Saxenda. I think I used to drive one of those. But anyway, that Saxenda one has some other drug which I can't pronounce. They've done a thing. Good. For years we were spending time saying if they invented a pill that would solve all this obesity stuff, we should take it. But it's the fact that it's not a pill that it wigs me out slightly. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's injections. And Wes Streeting, I'm sure he means well, but the idea of having loads of people being given these injections to get them back to work or whatever, I'm just not sure I want to live in a world where everyone's really thin, but they're injecting themselves with needles. It would be like being in Glasgow. Or Middlesbrough, Emsicles, if you're still there. There you go. I knew we'd get one back. So that's today's show, over and done with. We do have to do a short spell of plugging the things I've got going on. Don't worry, it's not a lot. Wegovy used to be in the Tory cabinet, says Martin. Wegovy, is that right, by the way? And Mount Monjaro is the world's most famous fatberg. Call back to last week's. Yeah. Monjaro wins. And Proper Memes going with a Michael Gove joke there. It's all very similar work. He thinks his name is Wes Treating. Saxenda was the name of the royal family, wasn't it? Yes, you're right. The Saxendersbergs. No, wait a minute. The Saxendersberg is the other fatberg that goes with the other one. It all fits together. I think we're onto something. When I've been getting more kit for this show, I never realised I needed a flip chart and red twine to go between all the stories. Hang on. it all fits. So, you're up to date with all the news that we could manage to find for you. Before we do the plugs of stuff, I'll give a shout out to it. Any spare cash hanging around, go to ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com. It's scrolling down here. This is why everything went weird. I spent ages trying to update the little Aston thing, the little scrolling ticker, and everything else has all gone weird now. I think I'm too high in the frame. This week on Saxenbergs, Saxenders on BBC. Saxenders. It wouldn't be like that, would it? It would be Kenny Loggins doing the... No, is it Kenny Loggins who does... Who was the... I've really lost it now. Who was the saxophonist? Not Kenny G. Kenny G doing the theme tune. Sounds more like a trumpet. That's jazz. But I can't do a saxophone sound. But I can do a trumpet one. So that's what you got. Right. Here we go. Some of this.
Here are the plugs where you can see Steve and Helen all this week.
Hi, and welcome to Places Where You Can See Me. My plugs. Oh, wrong way. That's the plan for the show. Steve's plugs. In the world of media. Friday, I'll be on Talk TV. Plank of the week. If you want to know who's hosting it, you're right. It's still not Mike Graham. Kev's hosting. They were obviously talking about that backstage. Can't tell you what was said. In the world of stand-up comedy, on Friday, I'll be performing in London. Around Vauxhall, I think it is. So, basically, I'm working on Friday. The camera's not quite lined up properly either, is it? I'm really noticing what an absolute mess this is now. And that's it. So, I mean, look, you can track me down on Substack. There's the Ko-fi thing. There's YouTube, the audio podcast, All Hit Radio. There's a plan for this show, says Martin. Yeah. £500 Migrant, Fat Jabs, Jail Romper, Christmas Dinner, and Ghost House. The rest of it, I didn't even make the list. I think we peaked with the guy with one leg, didn't we? What's the other one called? Single Step is here saying thanks for the UK news and laughs from your Aussie viewers. Thank you very much. Well, we'll finish off on the comment section. Bring back Mike. Exactly. That's what we're all saying. Hopefully, the next time I do a Plank of the Week, anyway, it gets broadcast on Friday night at 7, is it? By the time I do another one, hopefully he'll be back. Joodle says today was amazing. Glad you enjoyed it. We did try our best over here. Toodle Stevie, says Chris Hood. I'd love to. I think I'm too old to do the voice anymore. Toodle. Oh, it's been a while since I've done the Larry voice. I have to stretch first. I've reached that age. Yep, track me down on social media at Mr. Stephen Allen. And not doing one tomorrow because I'm off to Luton to give blood. I'm just going to mention it. I'm doing the reverse vampire. And it's good blood. So the people of Luton should be very grateful for that. I'd have noticed this. You have to fill in a form. We've talked about this last time, didn't we? There's that box that says, have you been recently told by a medical professional you're not allowed to give blood? If you're sat there, how dumb are you? But there's the other question. I always feel weird about this one. You just have to say if you've had any dental work recently. Nah. Have you been out of the country in the last 6 months? Nah. And one of the questions is something like, have you recently had unprotected sex with anyone who's received cash or drugs for the service? And you're like, well, no. And I see it's good that I tick no. But you're making me feel like an underachiever. Why is this? Why are you listing these things? And no, I know I mainly just stay home. No. Anyway, and also when you're in Luton, don't give me ideas. Oh, no offense. Luton, Middlesbrough, Glasgow, Hemel Hempstead got a slap as well. Birmingham, Coventry. Have we done them all? I think we've insulted absolutely everywhere. Well, you're up to date. Thank you for all the comments and stuff. Single Step, love the one about the one-legged burglar. Oh, we're gonna get in such trouble. Do you donate platelets too? I don't donate platelets. I've not. I know there is an extra box on that. Yeah. What do they do? I guess you're just there for longer, are you? I don't have a lot of... I struggle with flow at my age because they do the thing in there and then they complain about my blood's not flowing fast enough. And the little alarm thing goes off, and I have to pump my arms, pump my fist, and do it. There's the weird thing where they tell you to squeeze your buttocks. Now I'm thinking about it. Was it even a blood donation centre? But so I have to sit there doing all this, right, to try and get the blood out of me. And they moaning about it, and it feels like, no, wait a minute. That's good, isn't it? I'm the peak of evolution. My body has decided to not lose a pint of blood. Well done, Steve, but would you mind clenching your buttocks? Is the sentence I'd like to hear tomorrow when I'm in Luton. But I bet they don't. Thanks, Steve. I had a plasma exchange last year. I don't give plasma. Sorry about that. Man who struggles with flow is a streamer. And too much info says proper memes in TMI, says Martin. Well, there you go. You're fully up to date with what I'll be getting up to in Luton next Tuesday, if you're up for one. But until then, bye.
Here comes the news with a twist and a grin. Steve and Alan diving in again. Almost daily, but always sharp. He'll hit your brain like a lightning spark. Steve and Alan, almost daily. Laughs and facts, served up plainly. Your dose of wit, it's never shady. Steve and Alan, almost daily. Let's get inside the news.